Good evening, and welcome back to Pearl Snap Tarot. Make it snappy. Tonight I want to do a reading about, is YouTube a game? Is YouTube a game? Is it like a false reality that pulls people into steal your story, kind of like, and then exploit you? Is it a game like that? But if it is a game, how do you win? I don't know. Let's just talk about, is YouTube a game? Because I'm seeing videos, they're kind of like YouTube how-to videos. One of them had a title of YouTube is a game. So that sparked my interest because I agree, I think it is. So stay tuned, we're going to explore that. It does feel like a game where we're discovering a whole underworld of people who are siphoning off other people's energy, and it's being done both physically and digitally. Okay, so maybe the game is like the Hunger Games too, because who sponsored the Hunger Games? A group of bored rich people who were doing a competition that was lethal to see who would win this game. And then it went on to another phase after the winners were picked. Then they had to compete again, and remember they were brought to the big city on the train, and they got coached and how to play their game better and stuff like that. So, all right, we're going to start with some angel numbers. These are my handmade angel number cards. These were some of the first cards I made. I just saw 88. So, okay, I saw 88. Oh, and here's, okay. All right. 666 or 999. Which is it? Okay, it's a game that's played with people by evil people. But we're in the last phase of this first harvesting off of the winners, the winning teams, okay, that are going to compete in the next rounds. Oh, okay. Well, let's see what 666 and 999 say here. I'm going to have to switch glasses. 666 and 999. 666, halt, stop. No, do not make any sudden decisions. Your ego has taken control and is leading the way to heartache and fear. But you can recover your power. Call in the light of God. Okay. I said it's a game run by evil people. Okay. No, their ego has taken control. And they play this game by inducing heartache and fear. Okay. You can recover your power. Call in the light of God. Yeah, see, these people are the false light people, right? That play this game, that create an illusion that they are God, right? They're the demiurge, the fake false light gods. Okay, 999. What is 999, please? 999. The Divine Mother Mary is supporting you as you move back to a sense of wholeness. Welcome home to your heart. Okay, so we just said, the other one said, call back your power by talking to God. Okay, so this is all about, yeah, it's a game, but it's part of it is, can they destroy your heart chakra? Can they ruin you that way? who's going to buckle, right? Part of the game is it's a very cruel game. It's almost gladiatorial, okay? You're under a dome and you're a contestant, right? And it's a digital dome where you're playing a very dangerous game. All right. Yeah, it's a game. And they're watching your performance. They're betting on you. That's what I think. I think they're betting on you. And under this dome where I am trapped, where I've been trapped. Let's get these cards, these woo cards. Under this dome where I've been trapped, I have definitely seen and been at places where I felt like there was a crowd betting on me. At least one time there was a very big crowd. But I think other things that have happened to me here also had crowds watching, probably on hidden cameras. Okay. So under your dome, there's cameras that have taken video of you in various situations that were staged. That's part of the game. How will you react? What will you do in this staged environment? And it's kind of like the movie The Hunger Games, right? It is like that, okay, because that's what they had to do. They were under a dome, remember? They were under a dome. Yeah. Okay. What else can you tell us about this, please? Trump just came out. Might have something to do with it. He just built kind of a dome-like thing at the White House for this fight that he's sponsoring for his birthday this weekend. Okay. Trump has a dome. Okay. Well, he likes fighting, and he's always been involved with professional fighting, and I think he might have been involved with Mike Tyson at one time, and Don King, that guy with the crazy hair. Okay, we got a couple more coming. Okay, rogue AIs have something to do with this game. Rogue AIs. Doesn't that sound about right? And this Hunger Game might have been started by rogue AIs. Okay. President Trump, is he good or bad? Okay, let's stop right there. Oh, facial recognition is part of this. I got two more cards that came out. And White Hat Alliance. Okay, I was just asking, is President Trump good or bad? And I think that came out for that. I think he's part of that. I've always felt like that. And then rogue AIs, though, they're doing facial recognition. That goes together, doesn't it? Okay. All right, let me just confirm that. Where's my pendulum? Oops, hang on. Okay. Is President Trump good or bad? Good? Back and forth for me is a yes. Okay. Is President Trump bad? Okay, it's going counterclockwise in a circle. There's a no for my pendulum. Okay. So, and we have this card out confirming that he's all right. He's okay. He's trying to, I think he's trying to shut down the Hunger Games, frankly. And I don't know. But also I noticed a lot of similarities going on to the movie 2012 lately. And I made a post about this at my channel. 2012. There's all these similarities right now. You can go to my channel and look at the posts, the community posts. I just saw 111 on the clock here. Look at the community post page, and you can go down to that post I made recently about the movie 2012 and just see some of the similarities I'm seeing. And I don't know if anybody else is, but there's a lot of stuff that was predictive programming in movies that now that we're in this, I think we're in this finale to the first phase of the Hunger Games, and YouTube has a lot to do with it. That's where you auditioned, okay, or you auditioned on Rumble, or you auditioned on TikTok, or you auditioned on Facebook, or some kind of social media is how they did it, digitally. But yeah, I think pretty much. Was there ever a news report about you? Could they get a video of you on social media? Okay. So that's how you were a contestant in the Hunger Games. All right. Yes, it's a game. All right. Let's go. Tarot. Going to put some tarot on this. Let's get some tarot on this. Okay. All right. Hanged Man just came out of the box. You've been tied up under a dome, okay? And while you were in there, you had some realizations. And this next phase is about who gets out, okay? Who's getting out? Who's getting out? All right, we also have the Chariot out and the High Priestess. Well, and Judgment right off the, okay. And Judgment. Okay, we got these three cards out. Three major arcana came out next. Judgment, right? It's the end of the first phase of this game. You've been caught. You've been under a dome. You've been in a Truman Show. They've been watching you. Who's the Hunger Games? Who's going to win? Who played the best game? There's a High Priestess involved and a Chariot. So, this could be. Oh, okay. You're the winner. You're the winner. Okay, the High Priestess is the winner. And remember in the Hunger Games when they paraded the winners down that big promenade thing, which was kind of like the National Mall in Washington, come to think of it. A long, long expanse where they all presented in chariots, remember? So someone who's a High Priestess is a winner in this Hunger Games. Oh boy. Okay. What else? Let's maybe do a couple shuffles here in my lap. Ooh, what else? What about YouTube being a game? Is YouTube a game? Oh. Okay, we've got the Hermit and the Knight of Pentacles. So you've been under that dome. We saw the Hangman, and you played a solitary game. Your cutoff game's good, and you just kept cutting people off, and you won almost by not playing. Okay. And it was a long game. It was a long game, but finally your winnings are coming in. A winner has been selected. Okay. We just saw that. The winner has been selected. You're going to be paraded down the promenade in a chariot. Okay. What else? There's some kind of justice involved here. Yeah, remember we said we saw number 666 and 999. 666 got flipped over and became 999. The ending. I just got confirmation. My dryer is done and it buzzed. I don't know if you heard that, but confirmation. Yeah, it got corrupted. This game. It's very corrupt because it's played by these bored rich people who are bored and they don't have anything better to do than play with you. And remember in the movie, the reason why they did it was basically to make everyone afraid and to stamp out hope, I think was what their president said. Remember the guy, Donald Sutherland, who played the president? He said he wanted to stamp out hope. Look, I just opened to the King of Wands. He wanted to stamp out hope because it's the most powerful emotion, he said. So they try to do that using fear, right? It's all part of the game. What else is how? Okay, so yeah, everything's falling apart. Remember what happened at the end of the first Hunger Games movie? The dome fell in, and everybody realized it was a dome, and they could see the lights up there and everything, kind of like that thing President Trump has up there. I wonder what this fight is really all about. Let's see if we can get some more insight about this fight under this dome claw thing that President Trump built by the White House. Okay. All right, I'm going to take a different tarot deck. It's getting kind of dark in here all of a sudden. Okay, we got Archangel Michael out here. This is really about swamp draining, I think. I mean, that whole thing with the National Monument and dredging it and refilling it it's actually a very high level Masonic ritual. I looked it up and it's you can look that up too. I'll let you do your own research, okay? But I think it was symbolic of draining the swamp because he dredged it and then he repaved and resurfaced it. And then he painted it a beautiful color of blue. And now he's filling it up and all these evil Antifa people hate that. They hate it. They hate that he's beautifying the Capitol after Biden let it go to shit for years and let tent cities go up everywhere and millions of immigrants overrunning everything, doing fraud. Look at all the fraud. Okay, what is President Trump doing? He's draining the swamp. He's getting rid of all the fraud, identifying it, getting rid of it. Okay. All right, what else? What about that fight he's having? Okay. It might indicate that it's 999 time because what I said about the movie in my 2012 post was that at a certain scene in the movie, people were at a boxing match. Elite people were at a boxing match when the call came into their cell phones that it was time to go get to the arcs, to go get on the arcs. The arcs would be leaving within, 48 hours or something. I forget how long. Okay. Strength card just turned over. With the infinity symbol. Yeah, it's hard to see on this card, but she's petting a lion. Okay, that's like the strength card in tarot. It's a Leo energy, right? It could be a law enforcement officer, also a Leo. Yeah, President Trump's the commander-in-chief, basically, of everything. So this fight thing has a lot to do with Leo energy, the commander-in-chief, and possibly even the I don't want to say anything biblical, but there's a biblical thing in there too. I'm not an expert about that kind of stuff, okay? But there's that interpretation. What else about the dome and President Trump? What about this fight? And the Hunger Games. Any further messages here? Whoa, nothing's coming out. That's it. He's the commander-in-chief, period. All right, that's on period. President Trump is the commander-in-chief, and that is on period. Okay. We have a page of wands on the bottom of the deck. So this is this immature energy of these abusive abusers, these stalkers and traffickers of women and children and stuff. And that's what the swamp draining is all about, isn't it? Okay, all right then. Okay. So when they got the message that it was time to board the arks, that's what the 999 is all about. We're in the final stretch here of this first Hunger Game. Okay, that is being it's being broadcast on YouTube, okay? And a high priestess won, and the chariot came, and that's a law enforcement energy too, okay? Yeah, it is. Okay. That same weekend in my town, we have a active shooter drill going on with local law enforcement, police and fire department, first responders are going to do a drill in my town on the 14th, the same night of the fight in Washington. And I was researching that a little bit, and I saw a lot of videos about it. There's a lot of areas and towns have been doing these active shooter drills. And I wonder, I think that indicates there's a high level of preparedness for anything, violence or war. Right now, there's a very high level of preparedness for that. And you're hearing all kinds of warnings, right? About severe weather warnings and watches and volcanoes exploding and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it is a lot like the movie 2012. It's scary. I don't mean to scare anyone, but it seems like we're in that phase of things. Like we're at the end of the game, and what happens next? Let's ask the cards. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll just ask the cards. What happens next? All right. Let's go to this. Let's go to the Sacred Symbols Oracle deck to ask. What happens next in this game, please? Let me just give these a little shuffle. My, it's getting dark in here. I can barely see these. Okay. What happens next? Okay. Oh, divinity happens next. Wow. All right, that's a 7-pointed star, and a lot of times you see that law enforcement wearing 7-pointed stars on their badges. I just talked a lot about law enforcement, okay? But this is divine law enforcement, okay? What happens next is I'm getting divinely guided law enforcement. We are going to see some swamp draining, and it might not be pretty. Okay. Oh, magic was right underneath that. Another star. Can't see that. I'm going to have to turn this light on. There we go. Magic was right underneath that. That's a pentacle in the upright. Okay, so it's not satanic or evil. It's holy. It's a good pentacle. Okay, and then it just came right after. It came right with divinity. Another star. And this one is like a law enforcement badge star. 7-pointed star. And you see right in the middle of that 7-pointed star, there's an arrow pointing upwards, and it looks like the U.S. Space Force logo, okay? I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of like that's part of this 7-pointed star design here. The U.S. Space Force, okay, is involved in this. I was asking what happens next. This is concerning that, and I keep getting these readings that this is about some sort of galactic warfare or something. It has to do with disclosure. Okay, so what happens next is some kind of disclosure because people are clamoring for it. This is the end of the secrecy. Remember, the High Priestess won the game, so that's a Sisterhood of the Rose. Has something to do with killing this, draining the swamp, and bringing the end of this horrible death regime that's been, and fraud and everything that's been trafficking and killing people and all that. They're going to be demised by someone who's a member of the Sisterhood of the Rose. Okay. I ask what's coming next. Affluence. Now that's the Sri Yantra, which is some kind of Hindu talisman, I think. It looks like infinity, but what it is a multiple interlocking triangles. See that? Some are pointing up, some are pointing down, but it forms a design of interlocking triangles, somewhat like this, but you know, I just saw this like spinning around. I don't know. That's weird. What's under this? Healer. Oh, right. These Sisterhood of the Rose people are helping in the background. These healers that might have some ancient DNA. I'm getting they're like the good ETs. That might actually be what you are, okay? It might be what's underneath that. Air. Well, this is kind of like the Ace of Swords card, so yeah, that's the truth. All right, we'll end it there. Okay, thank you for coming back to Pearl Snap Tarot. Is YouTube a game? Apparently so, and it's like the Hunger Games in 2012 all rolled into one, and it's the boxing matches here We're at 999. That's right before we roll over to 0 and start the next round. And okay, the dryer just buzzed again. Confirmation. And we saw who the commander-in-chief is. The man who's draining the swamp. All right. Okay. Thank you for joining us tonight, and I hope you'll come back. Please like, share, and subscribe.